have been here for a long time.
25 years we've been here at this location for our intake center to be able to provide a place where the public can drop off wild animals in need, along with Austin Animal Protection, game wardens, anyone who needs our help. It's just been great to be able to have a centralized location where people know where we are, who can easily access us.
So describe this piece of property. It has a very woodsy feel back here, but it's literally right off the main road.
It is. It's right off of MLK and 183, so it's sort of centrally east located, which has been wonderful. And we've been leasing from Travis Audubon for about the past 25 years. This is their Blair Woods location, and as of this November, the lease that we have, it does expire, and it will not be renewed at that time.
So what are you looking for? What do you need?
Yeah, so it's a big ask because we have a short runway since our lease is running out here at the end of the year. But really what we don't need a big space. We need about 1,000 square feet in terms of a building and about 1/4 of an acre so that there would be room for public parking so that people can park and drop off those animals. But there are going to be zoning requirements. We would have to be zoned for veterinary services with no conditional overlays. And, again, easy public access is what we're trying to find here, just to make it convenient for our Austin community who cares so much about not just domestic animals, but our wild neighbors as well. And so we provide that service for the wildlife, and we are the only intake center currently in Austin.
Mm-hmm. So why is the lease not being renewed?
So at this time, Travis Audubon, they are going to be focusing more on their mission that's here in Blair Woods to further their community outreach and work that they're doing from a Travis Audubon perspective. And this building is going to be acting as their headquarters going forward.
What about financial concerns when you're trying to find a new piece of property? Like renting property in Austin is not what it was 25 years ago.
Right. Austin is very expensive, so the cost is definitely a main concern of wherever we would go. Travis Audubon for the past 25 years has been incredibly generous to us in allowing us to basically lease for $1 a year. It was basically what the original lease was set up for, which was incredibly generous for them over a long period of time.
So if someone were to say they had a piece of property, like what would they need to do? Do they need to go check in with the city? What is there special
right? If
rules around wildlife versus domestic animals?
Yeah, there definitely are regulations around wildlife versus domestic animals, and that's why the veterinary zoning is going to be the most important thing. Veterinary zoning is what allows us to take in wildlife, whether or not we practice veterinary care at the intake location. The veterinary zoning is what allows us to take in the wild species of animals. So really that zoning is the biggest thing that they would need to check in with the city if somebody thinks that they might have a suitable building or piece of land that we might be able to use. And again, with the runway being so short of when the lease ends, it's really something where we're trying to find something a little more turnkey that already has a building where we're not having to deal with city permitting.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about, you've got some temporary residents right now.
We do.
And these are like just the native wildlife who've had problems and needed to come in for help. So describe who's in here right now.
Exactly. So today is a great example of the variety that we take in every day. So during our busy season, our busiest months are actually June through August. So that's really when we are just bursting at the seams out at our rehab center in Elgin. But here in intake every day, we're taking in close to 40 to 50 animals every single day. And so right now we have a variety of little species. We have an extremely talkative little songbird here that's been chirping away the whole time. So little Carolina wren, one of our most common little native species that we see around. And we're now getting in our second round of baby squirrel litters. So these are little baby pinky squirrels that have come in, along with a rabbit going along for the ride here today.
Why not?
So exactly, we're all furry babies and getting along.
What would lead to squirrels this young, because they are very young?
They are. These are pretty much newborns. Yeah, so these are things where anything can happen. The thing with wildlife is we don't always get the backstory on what happens. We have concerned citizens who find them on the ground. They may have been blown out by winds. They may have been picked up by a predator and then dropped. So many different factors come into play, and that's one of the challenges in wildlife care, is that we don't get that backstory because people just happen upon them. And so it's a lot of piecing together what happens. With baby squirrels, especially one in here is terribly bruised, so we probably have a fractured arm that we'll have to deal with, because we also provide high-level medical care to the wildlife that comes in. Our veterinarian does orthopedic surgeries on anything from little screech owls to songbirds, all the way up to bald eagles, or adult coyotes, whatever comes in. So that is a regular mainstay of what we do, is also high-level medical care for these animals in order to get them to that point where they can be released back into the wild.
And what else do you have back here? I saw you found it.
Oh, yeah, so we've got baby squirrels, and then we've got a very young hummingbird that was displaced. So he's actually stretching out his wings right now, and so that's great to see. We always love to see hummingbirds that come in with a little bit of trouble, but not too much wing trouble. So I have real good prognosis for this little guy that's in here. Hummingbirds are one of our favorites. They're just one that we don't get in a lot, so when we do, we're really excited about it, to be able to take care of them. And then we have doves. We actually have a good example of a mourning dove versus a white-winged dove that has come in. And one of the things that we do here for triage and care, we have a little triage room over here in the back where we're able to do x-rays and anesthesia for animals that are coming in. So we do have a black vulture that came in severely injured. He is still under sedation right now. So he's sleeping heavily, but he is one that we'll be getting x-rays on. And what happens is that our intake center is in constant communication with our Elgin Rehabilitation Center. So we'll be giving them updates 3 times a day on all of the animals that come in here each day, so that when we go over, they have the proper setups already set up for when we drive the animals over, as well as any medications or medical care plans ready to go upon their arrival.
And do all these animals generally end up going back into the wild and being released?
Yes. So that's our whole goal. So everything we do is to release back into the wild. And that's one of the reasons why we go all out on medical care or whatever the need is, in order to try to get them back out into the wild.
And it's never easy being a nonprofit, is it?
It isn't. Yeah, nonprofit is always difficulty, but also a joy at the same time.
Right. So in this case, when we're talking about this nonprofit, though, like losing access to a facility like this is like,
right.
Like we said, you have budgetary concerns and like the concerns like for what all of these.
Right, because our big concern is that of the 10,000 animals a year that we take in every year, so it's a huge operation. We're one of the largest in Texas. So we're taking in 10,000 animals a year. Of that, 70% is coming in from Austin and the surrounding Travis County area. And that is why having an intake center in Austin is so critical, so that we can continue to service the Austin community, because without the community being able to find these animals or bring them to us, these animals will be in a difficult state going forward.
So just say it just so happens that a viewer or someone who's watching or reading the story online happens to have a solution for you. How would they get a hold of you?
That would be amazing. You can certainly call us here at our intake center at 512-472-9453, or best of all, you could email me. My email is Jules, Jules, at austinwildliferescue.org, and I would be happy to hear any ideas or suggestions that people have.
Okay.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and get the latest news by downloading the CBS Austin News app.